Muscogee Creek Nation, if you're headed to trial, what happens next? My name's Ted Hasse. I practice law in federal and tribal courts in Oklahoma. Today, I want to talk briefly about what it's going to look like for you as a defendant if your criminal case is set for the jury sounding docket. At this point, you have been unable to reach some plea agreement, or perhaps you're unwilling to entertain any sort of plea offer because you're simply innocent of the charge. At this point, you and oftentimes, there'll be sometimes on these jury sounding dockets, 350 cases, 450 cases, phenomenal what they go through in a single day. I don't know how many defendants, because there can be multiple cases per defendant, but just hundreds of cases sometimes. So you'll be on a docket morning or afternoon on one of these days. You'd be amazed by how many people are packing into the courthouse. When you and your lawyer come before the judge, you will at that point be letting the judge know whether or not you plan to move forward to trial. Depending on whether your case is a domestic violence case or some other case, it'll be decided which of two terms you'll be set on. The term, there are different terms because different groups of jurors are being pulled from the community depending on the charge. Now, at this point, the judge either will have a scheduling order for your attorney, or will have their clerks and personnel reach out with a scheduling order shortly thereafter. You're about a month away from trial at this point, and there'll be deadlines that'll be coming up. The big deadlines are jury selection or voir dire. The judge will be asking attorneys for both sides to be providing their proposal for questions that need to be asked for jurors and jury selection. Important deadline will also be deadline for jury instructions, and this is strategically a very important step in the process. It's setting out kind of the rules and really framing for the court and of course then for the jury what the standards are and what the law will be and how the jury will be instructed on the law as they go into the trial. There'll be a final motions deadline, and that'll be the deadline by which your attorney will be making motions to, for example, exclude certain evidence from trial. This wouldn't be for a suppression hearing. Certainly, if there was to be a motion to suppress because of some rights violation, that would have likely been handled much earlier. This late in the game, the motions they're looking for are trial motions. Now, once you go through jury sounding and once you have your date, you'll get your number order. In terms of priority, there'll be a lot of cases set for these weeks, but as it ticks down to the final days, some of these cases will go away or be resolved, through plea agreements. But at that point, jury sounding, you kind of know, when you're going to be going to trial, when the final deadlines are, when you're going to need to be there for hearings on motions and that sort of thing. And then you're going to be moving very shortly then toward a trial. If you or a loved one is facing criminal charges in Muscogee Creek Nation, and particularly if they're headed to trial, you're going to want to have good retained counsel. I'd say you definitely want to give me a call. I can be reached at the number below. Again, my name is Ted Hasse.